Christi Balisti writes, I've been listening to your show for about 2 years now and simply cannot miss an episode. Thank you for keeping me informed and entertained and for urging me to see movies I wouldn't have normally thought twice about, for example, John Wick. You were talking about whether or not the runtime of a movie affects the movie as a whole, such as how King Kong could have possibly been fine if cut down a half an hour or two. My question is, do you think that we will ever see an intermission during a film, such as we did during the classic epics Gone with the Wind or the Ten Commandments? Granted, those movies are 3+ hours long, but do you think a current filmmaker would ever do this again instead of cutting down the movie?
I don't know. I think it's also selective because there are some movies that are 3 hours that absolutely fit. Like to me, Braveheart is one of those movies. I don't want to cut a single second out of Braveheart. And sometimes you put like Judd Apatow's movies are close to 3 hours and don't need to be. You know, like 2:40, 2:30, whatever they are. It's selective. It depends on the story. It depends on the film. Depends on the filmmaker. I don't know. Alicia, how do you feel about it?
I love it in Gone with the Wind because it feels like theatre, and I love that the projectionists at the time had very specific guidelines as to how they should play the intermission, 7 minutes long, but if they need to, they can repeat it. One of my favourite quotes from Alfred Hitchcock is, the length of a film should be directly related to the endurance of a human bladder.
90 minutes.
And that's how I feel.
90
because it can, 90 minutes is about all I can handle, and I hate having to squeeze out there and go run to pee and come back. Interstellar, I had to monitor my liquid intake.
Right.
You know, so much so
And
that
drink
it
for
almost,
3 days.
it almost took away from my enjoyment of the movie because I was so worried I'd have to leave. So I would prefer, if the movie is going to be long, and they can hold your attention, like Braveheart, it should have a little intermission for people with little bladders.
I think there should be an intermission. Every movie should have one of these things. I have the bladder of an infant, okay?
Yeah.
You can't sell me a 60-ounce Coke at the lobby, then expect me to hold all that in during the entire length of the film. I think the last movie that had an intermission was the joke in Monty Python and the Holy Grail when they cut to intermission briefly. I'd love to see this again. I think it'd be really cool, but it would have to be, the running time would have to be at least a 3-hour movie. I mean, you're not going to realistically do this.
Well, you know when they do intermissions also, is when they throw these big marathons, whether it be for Star Wars or whether they're going to do that for Star Wars and Hunger Games and all that stuff as well, too. So
Thank God.
But
there's 6 movies they're going to play.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you're going to do that. And I know that in the play for Into the Woods, there was an intermission, and when it actually translates into the film, it's that part you wish the movie would have been over. Sorry, Mary.
No, it's all good. I think it's great. I think it would be great to have intermissions all the time. But I wonder if today's audience would be able to manage it just in terms of like storytelling, because the way stories are told has changed. So even though movies can still be 3 hours long, the audience that went to see Gone with the Wind had a very different set of viewing habits than we do. So I wonder how, I think it would be a cool experiment. I personally would like to have intermissions for long films, like you were saying Interstellar. I was sitting right in front of you and I was feeling the same way.
I was in the middle as well.
Especially that big tidal wave, I was like, oh my God.
They should have just given out astronaut suits at the movie
should
theater. Then you can just go right there.
Pee in the suit.
You know why they can't do it though? Also, this is because of ticket prices too. So you're running into, especially depending on when the movie comes out, you're running into other times, and it's like you said, Miri. It's so different now. It was almost like a theater experience back. Not a movie theater experience, but like when you go, you see a play, the theater,
or ballet, or the opera,
right?
Or any
that's
live
exactly
performance. You know,
that's what it was back then, and it's just changed. So I don't think we're going to see that.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.